in front of you, page 302, as we sing Ma Yafe Hayom. Ma Yafe Hayom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Ma Yafe Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom. Ma Yafe Hayom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Ma Yafe Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Ma Yafe Hayom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Ma Yafe Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our service, the first Shabbat in this year. And this is Shabbat Shuvah, and we will perhaps later during the service at one or the other point touch a little bit the topic, what it means to be on the Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. But it is also perhaps a little bit a Shabbat of a break in this journey from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, because it is the higher commandment on Shabbat to celebrate and to rest. And sometimes it is even necessary to rest for a short moment from this soul search, from this cheshbon hanefesh, from this investigating what we should have done perhaps better and how we can improve. This is a Shabbat of rest. This is Shabbat of joy. So it is beautiful to have you with us on this evening, and it's a special privilege that we now can zoom into the home of Leonard, who is celebrating a significant birthday and whose family is now leading us in lighting the candles and then Kiddush. And then afterwards, I promise there is a little blessing also for you. Please unmute yourself as you light the candles.
We unmute. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Amen.
שבת שלום, שבת שלום.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגופן. אמן.
Amen. Oh,
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא להם מן הארץ. אמן.
Amen. And before we say P'tei Avon to all of you, a special blessing. So God of days and years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. And we together today share in a special thankfulness and happiness in celebrating the birthday of Leonard. Be with him always as the joy of his life. May he be blessed with health and happiness. May we have the joy of coming together for many more years, united by mutual reverence and respect. Then will our lives be filled with abundance and blessings. And we say Amen and Mazal Tov v'Simen Tov, Mazal Tov v'Simen Tov v'Simen Tov v'Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov v'Simen Tov v'Simen Tov v'Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov v'Simen Tov v'Simen Tov v'Mazal Tov. Yehei lanu, u'lechol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, u'lechol Yisrael. David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'Kayam. Yom Holedet Sameach, Yom Holedet Sameach, Yom Holedet Sameach, At 120. Mazal
Happy
Tov.
birthday, Leonard.
Happy birthday.
On Sunday, and
All the best.
he's 90 years young.
Yeah, so it is a very early blessing, but you know, on Shabbat we also have the feeling that time stands still and our time is the past and the future, everything comes together. It transcends. So therefore we felt that that is the right time to give you the blessing of the congregation. And we hope and we pray for many, many more years in health and in happiness with your wonderful family. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And actually, our other son is also, as well as having a mechutan, our other son leads somewhere there in the background.
Wonderful. The whole family is united by Zoom. That is also so beautiful that we actually have this wonderful opportunity of bringing people together as a congregation and families. And of course, when we are on journeys as such, we hope that the guardian angels of Israel are with us. And so we invoke their presence by singing Shalom Aleichem, which you can find on page 104. And we ask peace and welcome to you, servants of God, messengers of the Most High, ruler above all earthly rulers, the Holy One of blessing. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Muachim Leshalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni Leshalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitrem Leshalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 111, Psalm 95, reminding us of this beauty of God's creation and God's hand that worked so miraculous to create our world. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצור ישנו, נקדמה פניו בתודה, בזמירת נריע לו, כי אל גדול אדוני, ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים, אשר בידו מכרי הארץ, ותאהב אתרים לו. אשר לא הים והוא עשהו, ויבש את ידיו יצרו. בואו נשתחווה וניחר, נברכה לבני אדוני עושנו. כי הוא אלוהינו ואנחנו המריתון וצאן ידו, היום בקולו תשמעו. And let us jump to Psalm 97, which you can find on page 114. Adonai Malach, Tagel Haaretz, Yismeru Iyim Rabim. The eternal rules, let the earth be glad, let the many isles rejoice. Clouds and darkness surround God, but righteousness and justice are the foundation of God's throne. Fire strides before God, blazing round all foes. God's lightning lights up the world. The earth sees and trembles, mountains melt like wax. Before the Creator, before the Sovereign, all of all the earth. The heavens declare God's righteousness. All people see God's glory. Shame on all those who are slaves to an image, who puff up their pride with hollow gods. False gods bow down before the one. Zion heard and rejoiced. The daughters of Judah were glad because of your judgment, O Eternal, because you are the sovereign, supreme over all the earth. You are supreme beyond all gods. Ohavei Adonai Sinora, those who love the Eternal hate evil. God guard the soul of those who are faithful, saving them from the hand of the wicked. A harvest of light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the constant heart. You are the righteous, rejoice in the Eternal, call God's holiness to mind with praise. And so we turn to Lecha Dodi, which you can find on page 121. We're singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, פני שבת נקבלה, lecha dodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמו וזכו בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי המקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשב התחילה. lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Page 124, a psalm to sing for the Shabbat day. It is good to give thanks to the Eternal, to praise your name, God beyond all, to tell of your love in the morning and your faithfulness every night, with the 10-string lute, with the lyre, and with the gentle sound of the harp. For you made me rejoice in your deeds, O God. All the works of your hand I sing out. God, how great are your works! Your thoughts are so very deep. The stupid do not know this, nor can the foolish understand that when the wicked flourish, they are only like grass. And when all who do evil spring up, their end is always destruction. Ve'ata marom leolam Adonai, only you are exalted forever, eternal. For see your enemies, God, see how your enemies shall perish. All who do evil shall scatter, but you exalted my strength like an ox, anointed me with fresh oil. My eyes saw the fate of my enemies, and those who rose up to harm me. My ears have heard their end. Tzadik katama yifrach, yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach, yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach. Ke'erez balbalon yizge, ke'erez balbalon yizge, ke'erez balbalon yizge, yizge. Shetulim beved Adonai, shetulim beved Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yavrichu. Ot yenavun beseva, ot yenavun beseva, ot yenavun beseva, ot yenavun beseva. Deshenim vera'anim, deshenim vera'anim, deshenim vera'anim yihu. Lehagit ki yasha Adonai, lehagit ki yasha Adonai, Tzuri velo amlatabo. So, as a community of people united by the same hope, by the same love, by the same ideas of bringing tikkun into this world, we together, we rise in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls, to call out for the eternal and to share a blessing. We're on page 127 for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. And I now invite you for a short moment to turn to the back of the Siddur to page 566, and Chaim will read us a wonderful poem which you can find there by Yehuda Amichai about Jerusalem, but also about the journey towards the high holidays.
Jerusalem is a port city on the shore of eternity. The Temple Mount is a huge ship, a magnificent luxury liner. From the portholes of her western wall, cheerful saints look out, travelers. Hasidim on the pier wave goodbye, shout hooray, hooray, bon voyage. She's always arriving, always sailing away. And the fences and the piers and the policemen and the flags and the high masts of churches and mosques and the smokestacks of synagogues and the boats of psalms of praise and the mountain waves. The shofar blows, another one has left. Yom Kippur sailors in white uniforms climb among ladders and ropes of well-tested prayers, and the commerce and the gates and the golden domes. Jerusalem is the Venice of God.
So when we turn back to page 129, when we read about God's love for Israel, we have this image of the sailing towards and again also leaving the holy city of Jerusalem as a symbol of God's presence in our world. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shorvenu ufkumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nizmar b'divrei toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה נגי יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תעשי ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב את עמו ישראל אוהב את עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. אהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We have a short moment for our private reading of the second paragraph of the Shema. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אמת ואמונה כל זאת וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל העושה גדולות עד אין חקר ונבלעות עד אין מספר, וראו בניו גבורתו, שיברו והודו לשמור מלכותו, ברצון קיבלו עליהם. משה ומרים ובני ישראל לך ענו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך אדוני אלוהינו ראו בניך על הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. So we turn to page 136 for the blessing or for the God's gift of peace and protection, which we read together, and I invite you to read at home aloud with us the Hashkivenu prayer in English. Source of our life and our sovereign, cause us to lie down in peace and rise again to enjoy life. Spread over us the covering of your peace, guide us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Be a shield about us, turning away every enemy, disease, violence, hunger, and sorrow. Remove the temptation that awaits us and the guilt that lies behind us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are a God who guards and protects us, a ruler of mercy and compassion. Guard us when we go out and when we come in, to enjoy life and peace both now and forever, and spread over us the shelter of your peace. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al amo Yisrael ve'al kol ha'olam.
ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
Now we turn to the Tfilah Aravit LeShabbat, and I mentioned that before in one class I taught that in our prayer books we have sometimes blue inserts, and in the Amidah we find all year round these two little blue lines in the opening prayer of the Tfilah, and then several other prayers, and they are in there only, according to most of our Reform practice, for two services, for the Friday evening and Saturday morning in the week between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It always says during the 10 days of penitence, add, and these are the lines we add this Shabbat. So when we're singing our prayers together, please remember that we need to pause for a short moment and let the high holidays coming back into our prayers for the Tfilah.
Adonai sefatai tiftah ufi yagit tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftah ufi yagit tehilatecha.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואלוהי אמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, קונה הכל, וזוכה חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכנו, זוכנו, זוכנו לחיים, מלך החפץ, מלך החפץ, מלך החפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר, וכותבנו בספר החיים, וכותבנו בספר, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך, למענך, למענך אלוהים, למענך, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם פוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי לא מלך, מלך ממיל ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. Who is like you, source of compassion, recalling your creatures to life in compassion? ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הקדוש. אתה קידשת את יום השביעי לשמך, תכלית מעשה שמיים וארץ, וברכתו מכל הימים, וקידשתו מכל הזמנים, וכן כתוב בתורתך, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Our God and God of our ancestors, may your rest be pleasing to you. May our rest be pleasing to you. Make us holy by doing your commands, and let us share in the work of your Torah. Make us content with your goodness, and let our souls know the joy of your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth, in your love and goodwill. Let us inherit your holy Shabbat, and may all Israel who seeks holiness find in it their rest. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael utfilatam she'eh, u'barachamecha harabim tachbot zbanu, ותשרה שכינתך על ציון. ותחזינה עינינו בתשובך לציון ברחמים, ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון. מודים אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו לעולם ועד, צורנו צור חיינו ומגן אישנו אתה הוא. לדור ודור נודה לך ונספר תהילתך על חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלאותיך וטובותיך שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך המרחם, כי לא תמו חסדיך, כי מעולם קיווינו לך. ועל כולם יתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא תמיד שמך מלכנו לעולם ועד. וכתוב לחיים טובים כל בני בריתך. Record all the children of your covenant for a good life. May every living being thank you. May they praise and bless your great name in truth. For you are the God who saves and helps us. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha ulecha na'eh lehodod. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atah hu melech adon lechol hashalom. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. In your presence, may we and all your people, the family of Israel, be remembered and recorded in the book of life for good life and for peace. בספר חיים נזכר ונכתב לפניך אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים ולשלום. ברוך אתה אדוני. המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We have a short moment for our private prayers before we continue in a short moment with Oseh Shalom, which you can find on page 149. Oseh Shalom b'momav, hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol ha'olam. Oseh Shalom b'momav, hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol ha'olam. Hu ya'aseh shalom, hu ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Hu ya'aseh shalom, hu ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Hu ya'aseh shalom, hu ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Hu ya'aseh shalom, hu ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. ve'al kol bnei Adam v'meru. Amen. Before we continue with the reading of the Aleinu, I would like to share some thoughts about our Parashat HaShavua, about our Torah portion for this Shabbat, because tomorrow we will read exactly that, what I will talk about, but I will address tomorrow I prepared something to speak a little bit more about 9/11 as we mark tomorrow 20 years of this significant, I think for our generation, for our generations, very significant date. So therefore, allow me just for a short moment to take you onto a journey into our Torah portion. Our first Torah portion for the new year is called Vayelech, and it includes the public transition or the public transfer of the leadership from Moses to Joshua. It is not uncommon to analyze the leadership styles of the two figures for insights into positive and not so positive leadership traits. But in retelling the movement from one leader to the other, it is possible perhaps to gain some insight for us on the necessary traits we need for our own transitions. The expression "be strong and resolute" is used 3 times in our parasha, appearing in Hebrew as chizku ve'imtzu, and then twice as chazak ve'ematz. This phrase is first used in Deuteronomy chapter 31:6, when Moses commands the Israelite people to be strong and resolute as they enter the promised land under Joshua's leadership, and immediately engage in battle to dispose the current inhabitants. In this instance, the expression takes the form of, "You can do it," a speech from a coach, perhaps. The task ahead is formidable, but with courage and confidence, the people of Israel, as the Torah will tell us, and then the book of Joshua, will defeat the other nations. The second occurrence of this expression is the following verse, where Moses again proffers his command, but this time exclusively only to Joshua. In front of the entire community, Moses passes the yoke of leadership to the new generation. Be strong and resolute, for it is you who shall go with the people into the land. Here the same words are being used not merely to encourage Joshua, but also to force him to confront the weight of the responsibility he is accepting. And the third use of this phrase, and the only other place it is used in the Torah, is in verse 23, the verse with which we will tomorrow end our Torah reading. When God speaks directly to Joshua and saying, "Be strong and resolute, for you shall bring the Israelites into the land, and I will be with you." This is the language of comfort. Yes, a huge responsibility has been handed to Joshua, but Joshua is not alone. God will be with Joshua as he leads the people into the promised land. The use of this specific Hebrew expression marks three important needs in leadership or in general transition. The need for the members of the community to believe, of the individual to believe in the new leader and in themselves. The need for the new leader to understand the weight of her responsibilities, and the need for the new leader to be supported. However, we can read the Torah portion also from a very different perspective, an internal perspective. Between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we hope to achieve a successful leadership transition for our habits. We want to allow those of our traits that are good for us and the world that surrounds us to take over. And we want to win the battle against our bad habits. We want to enter ourselves into the promised land. And so our Torah portion gives us hope and courage to move on, strong and resolute. Chazak ve'matz. May we succeed in our own journeys, in our own leadership changes. Gemar Hatima Tova. So let's turn to the prayer that acknowledges exact this hope, the Aleinu prayer, which you can find on page 310, which speaks of a time when all recognize their inner strength and that God is with them in their journeys to make this world a better place. Page 310, the Aleinu. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום השב אותה, אל לבבך,
כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינות.
Therefore, Almighty God, we put our hope in you. Soon let us witness the glory of your power when the worship of material things shall pass away from the earth and prejudice and superstition shall at last be cut off. When the world will be set right by the rule of God and all humanity shall speak out in your name and all the wicked of the earth shall turn to you, then all who inhabit this world shall meet in understanding and shall know that we are all partners in the repairing of your world. For yours alone is the true kingdom, and only the glory of your rule endures forever. So it is written in your Torah, the eternal shall rule forever and ever. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. And also on this first Shabbat in the new year, we pause and we mark yahrzeits and the losses of people that were important to us, whose journey was before us and inspired us. Those people who helped us to find our own Jewish identity and found our own human divine spark in us. We remember the following who have recently died: Hugo Lampel, father of Roberto Lampel, and Vera Morris, mother of Aviva Shafretz, and mother-in-law of Rabbi Shafretz, Zichrono Livracha. We mark the yahrzeit of Jonathan Hart, son of Pamela Hart, Anita Russ, mother of Stephen Russ, Brenda Zimmerman, mother of Susan Archer, Manfred Rosenkrantz, father of Danny Rosenkrantz, Joyce Fieldman, mother of Derek Fieldman, Marcus Bauer, father of Patrick Bauer, Irene Friedman, mother of Carolyn Somers, Leonard Perkins, husband of Marie Perkins, Isaac Solomon, father of Nina Portugal, Elaine Etherton, mother of Richard Etherton, Winnie Lewis, mother of Stuart Lewis and Sally Ann Feldman, Ernest Magnus, father of Ruth Bregman, Renee Mason, mother of Jeffrey Mason, Pamela Meyer O'Reilly, mother of Stanford Meyer O'Reilly, and Lawrence von Sommaruga, father of Teresa von Sommaruga Howard. Are there names you like to add? And before I invite Stephen to lead us in the Kaddish, of course, on this Shabbat, which marks the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 day of the terror attack, we also think of all those who died because of terror and war in this world, specific the nearly 3,000 people who died in this terror attack and then in the aftermath of it. And just if you followed the different reports 20 years after, still people die because of the terror attack. Those who were the first responders and inhaled a lot of the dust are still cursed today by this attack and still dying because of it. Dying has not found an end yet. And so we hope that their souls, together with your loved ones, find peace and shelter under the wings of the Eternal. Please, Stephen, lead us on page 316 for Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbo,
Amen.
Olmal dibrach Yerusei, Yamlich Malkutei v'chayei chonu v'yomei chonu v'chayei tekol Beit Yisrael, Bagalov Izmankari v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbo mavorach yalam alamai almaya, Yitbarach v'yittabach v'yipa'ah v'yitramam v'yitnasei, Yithada v'yitalel yitalal shemei dekudisha.
Berichu.
Leila Leila min kol b'chata tushbechata v'nechemota. Yamarum bi'alamal v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalom Rabba man shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yalkol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
O say shalom b'mravav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yalkol Yisrael v'yalkol ha'olam v'imru. Amen.
Thank you. Wishing you a long life and all the mourners. You are in our hearts. Stella, do you have the one or the other thing you would like the people to invite to?
Oh, right. Yes, I do indeed. Just to say that Shabbat Shuvah will be in the synagogue, on Zoom and on YouTube tomorrow. And there's no need to book if you wish to come into shul. You're more than welcome. There's plenty of space for everybody. However, you will be asked to sign in. And for your own safety, we suggest that you also use the check the app, track and trace app, which we have up. The majority of our services in shul for the next few days for Kol Nidrei, Yom Kippur, are fully booked, but there may well be one or two spaces for the afternoon mincha service. Just contact the office and they may well be able to help you. Otherwise, we will be, as usual, on YouTube in our full glory of our choir, our quartet, and our rabbi with some lovely new touches, to which you will all obviously be more than welcome. If you've been offered an aliyah and you're going to be doing it on Zoom, I will, from Monday or Tuesday, be sending you a Zoom link to enable you to join in just that service to perform your mitzvah. And don't forget, we will then be coming on to Sukkot and Simchat Torah. And we look forward to seeing you in shul at those times as well. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you very much. And just a little teaser also, next Shabbat we will have a baby naming, so not tomorrow, but in a week from now. So we go from one celebration to the next, and then the next and the next. And also everyone who wants really to celebrate with your amazing congregation, Simchat Torah is around where we'll celebrate and honor some very special people of our congregation.
And the baby blessing next week for the Russes and the Glazer families will be yet another pair of twins.
Exactly. So a lot of twins are with us, and that's good. It's a double blessing. It is so wonderful to be with you, and I mentioned that also on Rosh Hashanah several times. This is a very special year. It has been a very special year for us, and we're coming close to the first cycle. We're celebrating with you as a congregation, and we feel that we grow through you, and hopefully you also feel the same. So may the new year be a year full of blessing, of growth, of strength, and may we all go from strength to strength. We conclude with this wonderful hymn, Adon Olam, and once again, I invite you at home in front of your screens to sing along. The wonderful thing is you can just sing freely. No one will hear you besides yourselves and those who are sitting around you. So please enjoy the singing. Adon Olam. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem kol yitzir nivra Let nasa kerefzo kol Azai melech shemon hikra Ve'acharei kichlot hakol Levado yimloch nora Ve'hu haya ve'hu hove Ve'hu yeh betifara Ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni Lehamshilo lehachbira Ve'li reshit ve'li tachlit Ve'lo ha'oz ve'hamisra Ve'hu eli ve'chai go'ali Ve'tzuchev li be'yom tzara Ve'hu nisi u'manusi Menat kosi be'yom mekra Be'yado hafkid ruchi Ve'dishan ve'ahira Ve'im ruchi geviyati Adonai li ve'lo ira. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.